Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14, presented by Stakes, here to talk about LSU's game with Kansas State in the Cayman Islands Classic. LSU is a 1-point favorite as we do this on Wednesday morning. Both teams 5-0. Both teams haven't played a lot of other quality competition yet. And one of the big questions we were talking about before the game is how do you watch it? So I'll give you just a minute to tell folks how to find this one who want to watch it, because it's not
Nah,
easy.
I don't need a lot of time. If you're a basketball fan, Flow Hoops has been around for a while, and you can watch it there. You got to sign up, of course, to do it. They have partnerships with a lot of different people, and so yeah, I think it's been running on there for a while now. This tournament has, but yeah, you can find it on Flow Hoops. You can watch it there. This championship matchup between LSU and Kansas State, which when you looked at the bracket, this was kind of what you expected. If both teams took care of business, they did. And now it sets up for an interesting game because you've got two first-year coaches here, Matt McMahon at LSU, Jerome Tang at Kansas State. It is, I think it's kind of a fun setup because these are the kind of games, Chris, you talk about for first-year head coaches, right? Like winning a tournament, doesn't matter what tournament it is. That's a significant boost of confidence early on at a new school. And so I think this is a big game for both. And when you look at the schedules, honestly, for both, they need this game because
Yeah.
talking about voting resumes and such, this, I think, either way, when you just look at how the schedules play out the rest here, I think both will need this. Although LSU gets, or excuse me, yeah, I mean, look, it's just non-conference wise, they both need it. Let's just put it that way. So it sets up for an interesting game here, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think these are two pretty evenly matched teams in terms of some of the things they can do. I think you're looking at two teams here that will force turnovers, and also two teams that haven't necessarily taken care of the ball perfectly thus far. So I think you could see that here in terms of the defense maybe stepping up and being a big part of the game here.
What have we learned about LSU so far? I've not gotten a chance to see the Tigers play other than maybe a minute or two here and there. Adam Miller,
Well,
who
that's what
was
we've
the
learned. Yeah.
transfer, yeah, who sat out last year from Illinois, is the shooter that they've needed. He was 5 of 9 from three. KJ Williams, Justice Hill have been, we expected them to be contributors. Of course, they have been. They scored 19 and 14 last game. They're playing a lot of guys. At least they did against Akron. They're playing about 9-10 guys. Akron is the only team in the top 100 of KenPom that LSU has played. Akron is exactly number 100 as we do this. Anyway, other than Miller, what do we know about the Tigers so far?
Well, I mean, I think that's the biggest discussion point, though, is the fact that if you'd have told me 5 games in that he was going to be averaging 17.4 points per game and leading them in minutes at 33.4 minutes per game, I'd have said yes. Like that's the key to LSU season because I said that going in. I said he's the key to their success this year. Yes, obviously you need all the transfers to do what they're doing. I mean, KJ Williams leads them in points, rebounds, steals, blocks. So he's doing a lot, but Adam Miller to me is the key to this whole thing. And the way he's played thus far, again, has exceeded probably where I thought he would be, maybe. Because we said it was all a matter of, are you going to, do you get the guy that you certainly saw the potential in before the injury? And we're seeing that because he is, he's making shots. And that's what they need out of him. They need scoring. And I think that's a big part of this equation here. And something else that I think has stood out for me, this LSU team, and of course, he kind of ties into this a little bit when you look at kind of how it's been I mean, he's made 15 of them, but I mean, LSU has hit at least, let me find it here. I just had the number. And of course, you guys know how this works. When you pull up something and you get 15 other
Well,
tabs.
while you're finding that, LSU is shooting 39.2% from three.
Yeah, the
According to
bigger
KenPom.
number,
So
they've hit at least 8 in all but one game this season. So, like, they're hitting 8 threes. I mean, that's good. And again, I don't know what our expectation was number wise for them coming into the season, but that is that's a big boost. Because I think having Adam Miller, KJ Williams is just going to kind of be a rock, I think, for them in terms of, again, he can do so many different things, and that's going to be a big part of, the puzzle here. But I think that's it, is just seeing what Adam Miller's done. That stands out to me. Like I said, this is a team that thus far, and, it's the competition too, I know that matters, but they're playing good defense. They're forcing turnovers. And I just think that, when you look at kind of how they've played to this point, they're getting to the free throw line. Yeah, there's. I know the schedule hasn't been the most impressive, but I think you can be impressed with what kind of the direction and things are trending in the right direction. I think for this LSU team.
Okay, before we talk about Kansas State for a minute and how it matches up with LSU, a shout out to our sponsor, Stakes. Predict sports better than the crowd. For a chance to win NFTs with Stakes, players can cement their sports predictions against friends, other fans, and influencers forever. Don't let your sports genius go overlooked. Join Stakes and have the best predictions captured in the moment. Go to playwithstakes.com/14. User invite code Southeastern14 for a double welcome bonus. Again, that is Stakes, SDAKES. Okay, what do we know about Jerome Tang's team? Of course, the former Baylor assistant staying in the same league. K-State, kind of the same thing as LSU in that it's 5-0, but has not played an overwhelming schedule heading into this one.
Well, here will be my pitch to you. If you want to watch this game, let me give you a reason why you should watch this game. Whether you're a Kansas State, you're a Kansas State fan, you're watching it. Whether you're an LSU fan, SEC fan, here's why you should watch this game. Keontae Johnson, who was at Florida, transferred to Kansas State.
Oh,
We all
yeah.
remember the scary incident. He goes for 28 points.
Oh, my.
Against Nevada in an overtime game, plays 40 minutes, has now scored 28, 14, 19, 16, and 13 in the first 5 games this season, played at least 26 minutes in every game. So if you want a reason to get invested into this game, my pitch would be there's your reason. Because the fact that he is out there playing
This is a
after one
miracle.
of the scariest situations we've ever seen is truly awesome. And I think, look, if you want me to break down this game and ins and out, yes, we can do that. Or we can just say, look, this is a great story, great kid. And he just scored 28 points. He looked great in that Nevada. That's a good game too, by the way. We talked about some good games on Tuesday. That was a good game against Nevada. Overtime, they win by 9. He played well. And I just think this Kansas State team is, like I said, it's a good team. And, I like the matchup here. I just think this is one again with Jerome Tang. Remember, Jerome Tang was with Scott Drew at Baylor for all those years. So you'll kind of see some similar structure in terms of how they're going to play. They've shot the 3 well thus far. I don't think they've taken they've taken, I guess, a few, but in the grand scheme of things, that they've still shot it efficiently in the ones they have for the most part. So, this is a team that, again, I think scoring wise, you've got some guys that can score. Like I said, you just talked about Keontae Johnson. Just a huge game, and I think this is a team that will be. Yeah, this is it's a good Kansas State team, by the way, too. If you're looking for other guys who were in the SEC at one point, right? Desi Seals is there as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
He went from Arkansas to Arkansas State. He's playing quality minutes. I think defensively, that's what you want to see from LSU in this game because this is a team that has some scores on it. And I'm sure there's guys that we're not even mentioning off the top of my head because I really just have wanted to talk about Keontae Johnson because I just think it's great. But this will be a toss up because I think these are 2 really good teams and 2 well coached teams, and I think we'll kind of see if which one can kind of disrupt the other's offense because as we've seen, you're talking about sort of the game of bounce back players, Chris. Different reasons, but an Adam Miller bounce back, Keontae Johnson bounce back, kind of a fun story there to look at.
Well, I'm looking at our buddy Chris Dortch's Big 12 predictions. He had Kansas State last, but I'm reading through the article and about Kansas State in that book, and I'm not gonna say he was listed as an afterthought, but it was. They talked about a lot of guys on the team before they got to him. I'm guessing that Keontae Johnson is sort of a non-factor was the expectation. If Keontae Johnson, who was the preseason SEC player of the year 2 years ago, is that guy, then this is a win you're probably going to want on your resume come March if you're LSU.
No, I agree. I think it's like I said. I think this is. To me, this is one like Marquise Noel's there too, and I think like they've got some scores on this Kansas State team, and so I think that like I would But let's remember too, like the Big 12 is good, and so even
Yeah,
if you're picked,
always.
near the bottom of the Big 12, you've still got
Even
a
the
chance to
bad
be.
teams in the Big 12 are NIT level teams usually.
Right now, again, Ken Palm, we're using it early. Not all the numbers are adjusted yet, but every team in the Big 12 is ranked in the top 55. Kansas State is 55. You know what I mean? So it's like you got a bunch of teams hovering around the 40 to 50 range. So half the league is basically. So I think that's something to consider. This is not a bad team by any means, and I think Jerome Tang I think he was a great hire for them. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but I do think this is one where kind of a toss up here, Chris. I think this is a good game either way. And man, prediction wise, I don't even know who I'm picking in this one. I'll go with Vegas. Vegas has LSU as a 1-point favorite, right? So
Yeah.
maybe I'll go that
Ken
route.
Palm has LSU as a 2-point favorite, and Bart Torvik has LSU as a 3-point favorite. So everybody's got this one close.
I'll lean on the computers for this one because I don't have a good feel for it. I think these are two teams that may exceed expectations this season. And again, I know that the schedules haven't been the toughest, but I think they've got some players on each side, and we'll see what that matchup looks like there in the Cayman Islands, Chris, which I don't know if you've been there before. Nice place. This we played in Georgetown. And yes, so all the visitors there, enjoy. Go to Coconut Joe's, get a nice club sandwich, and enjoy yourselves. So.
All right, last big test for LSU until Wake Forest on December 10th, until SEC play. So we'll see how the Tigers do. They need this one. All right, we got a ton of stuff to talk about. We're in the middle of football. We're in the middle of basketball, and we're hitting all of it. Best way to catch that is subscribe to our channel. We've got a live stream Wednesday night where we take your questions at 8 Central and talk football and maybe even some hoops tonight, depending on what the mood of the group in the chat is. In any case, again, hit that subscribe button. Check us out tonight. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 14, presented by Steaks.